Her presence alone speaks poetry to me. How she does it is still a mystery, and I've had the tendency of trying to take dives into her thoughts, although it gets real deep. A strong, godly woman, not afraid to show sensitivity.
Everybody, we're going to go into the teaching of being a good leader. So we're going to first read from the First Kings chapter 13, and then we're going to go into the sermon. Okay, this is the second verse. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father in his heavy yoke, which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thou shalt say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Basically, just to give a backstory of what's going on. So Rehoboam, he's just becoming king. So he asks the elders, what would it take for me to be a good leader? What would it take for me to be a good king? So he asked the elders. The elders are basically telling him, okay, if you want to be a good king or a good leader, it would take for you to serve your people first and be good to them. And in return, they will be loyal to you. So he's like, okay, I'm not really feeling that. Why should I serve people if I'm a king? Like, they're underneath me. Why should I serve anybody? Which is the mindset like a lot of people have now. They feel like they're too good to serve anybody, like they're too important. But then it's a humbling thing to realize that if Jesus himself came down to the earth and he served us, served his people, what would exempt any of us from serving anybody else, right? So then he's like, okay, I'm not feeling that information. Let me go to people that are my peers, that are my age, that, I've hung around. So he went to the younger people and he asked them, what would it take for me to be a good leader? What would it take for me to be a good king? So they basically fed his ego and telling him like, okay, you don't have to serve anybody. If anything, they should be serving you. And to be a good king, you just have to be a dictator, telling them do this, do that, and be harsh on them and place fear in their heart. But as we see, it did not turn out the way he thought it would, because they said, okay, well, if you're not going to serve me, why would I even be your servant if you're not going to be good to me? So they basically turned that back on him. So we can also see in a good example of a person in this church that is a good servant is Bishop himself, because he is the shepherd of the church and we are his sheep. So he takes care of the sheep, whether it's through counseling or praying or encouraging or whatever the case may be. So even if he's the bishop, he still is serving his people. So it wouldn't make sense if it's somebody that's a shepherd, and say, for instance, they just have one sheep,
that sheep gets stuck in the fence, and then they just like, okay, I'm not gonna get that sheep gonna learn because I'm the owner of the sheep, I'm not gonna help them. But at the end of the day, if you leave the sheep right there, they're gonna die because they don't have the food they need, they're not getting the nutrients or anything that they need, so. And we can also look at Proverbs to see that in the book of Proverbs, I don't know the exact words that it's saying, but I know that it says something like that the splendor of an old man is in his gray hair, which is his wisdom, and the power of a young man is in his strength. So if he was asking for like war techniques or how to ambush here, over here, or how to fight, it would have been a good idea, right, for him to go to the young men because they were about fighting and strength. But he was asking something that dealt with the mentality, which was on how to be a leader, and it was basically to serve. So he should have went to the elders, since they had wisdom on that behalf. So even an example, it might be somebody that's a new parent, and they have two people they can ask advice from. Whether it's one person that's like with 15 kids, meaning they have a lot of experience in this part of life. They know because they have those many children, versus somebody that may be somebody you went to school with, that your friend or something like that has no kids, never babysat any kids. Matter of fact, they probably hate kids, but for some reason, like they on Facebook, and a lot of people, when they on Facebook look at information, they think they know information because of that. So it would be your best bet to go to the people that have actual experience. So I want to also say that the reason I chose this because I wanted to do from the mindset of a king, because I know a lot of times, especially this year, that we want to elevate and we want to grow, we want to mature and do better for ourselves and elevation. But you have to know that if you're not ready to serve your people, that you're not ready for leadership. You're not ready to go to the next level, because it's not all about dictating to people, telling them what you got to do. Because if you can see already in the world, like even in the presidency, a person that's just saying, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, but they're not serving their people, there's no loyalty to that. They don't want to be loyal to you. They don't want to be loyal to you or to follow you. So I also want us not to get the word serving confused with slaving, because I know a lot of times us as Christians, we feel like we have to do everything, it's just all on us. But that's the beauty of being a body of Christ. It's the arm, the leg, the elbow, whatever. It's all different body parts, but they're all special and they all come together. So we can serve in different ways. One person may be able to serve by encouraging somebody on Facebook that they might see that's always depressed or going through a certain situation. You say, okay, I'm going to send a message, say, I love you, I'm praying for you. I want to encourage you to come out to church service at 4952 South Paulina. You can serve by maybe if you have an elder in your family that's sick, that doesn't have the working of limbs or arms and legs and things like that, maybe helping them get around, And then you can also serve by, like, maybe it's your spouse is dealing with a stressful week, like maybe like massaging their feet, or if you don't touch feet, to like send them to the spa and pay for their spa date or whatever. So it's just many ways for us to serve in not just the church, but also outside. Because like I said before, like a lot of times people's first encounter with God will not always be in the church. Sometimes it will be outside in the world, and we have to, as being Christ representatives, to bring them to the church. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit sick. So it's very important that we all serve, and to know that serving is not all about being seen and getting acknowledged. Like, I know it feels good to like say, okay, you did this, good job, but if we're being realistic, a lot of times you won't get that praise or that acknowledgement that you helped serve somebody, and you have to be okay with that. Serving is saying that, okay, since I love you, I'm going to be a blessing to you and help you in an area that you're not able to do something in, even if I don't get anything back from it. So it's very important for us to serve and to be selfless in our serving. Because if you're a person that just wants to serve so that you can be seen and get acknowledged, it stops becoming serving. It starts becoming showboating. So it's just like you just want to be seen. And then it's like you get no blessing from that at all, because even the Bible tells you to not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, which is why I never really understood, like, when people record like on Facebook or something like that, them giving food to the homeless and stuff like that. Like I never really understood that or grasped like what would you do that for? Yeah, to look at you, for you to get praise for what you're doing. But God sees what you do in secret. So even if somebody else doesn't acknowledge or praise you for what you
do. And just like it says in the Bible, it reminds you also that if you're a person that only does stuff to get praise, that will be your reward, your praise from people. But God will bless you with something more extraordinary than that if you are a person that doesn't seek to always be praised or acknowledged or get a pat on your back all the time. That, God will bless you for what you're doing.